This is my Cannondale Cat 12 and I love the thing. Over the years I've ridden some other bikes, some cheaper, some a bit more expensive, but there's something about the nimble ride of my aluminium friend over here that I just really appreciate. Even though the bike is not perfect, I keep coming back to it. At the moment I've ridden about 10,000 kilometers on it without really changing anything other than getting this cheap set of carbon wheels and the occasional pair of new tires. So I think it deserves some upgrades. Here's what we're going to do. Sand down the frame and fork and paint it in a new color. Change all the brake and shift cables, swap out the bar for a lighter one and the stem for a more aggressive one. Cut fork to slam stem and cut seat post to save grams. Remove the seat-bear bottom bracket and reinstall the original ones. The wheels should be rebuilt, they're starting to show some signs of wear. As it stands, my Cat weighs 7.7 kgs. After these modifications it got down to 7.3 kgs. And this is how it looks now. Here's how the build went. When I first bought this bike, I didn't really care for the neon green color. I just wanted the Cat 12. Over time, however, it really grew on me as it was something different compared to all the black bikes riding around. While I still like the green, I think it's time for something different. Initially my idea was to sand down the frame to bare aluminium and then give it a mirror polish, as I've seen some other people do. Now, apart from requiring many hours of elbow grease, I also read that it was quite hard to keep the polished look thanks to oxidation of the aluminum, even underneath a clear coat. So after searching some more on the internet, I found this video of Unlimited Colors, a Dutch company doing paint jobs for tour teams and other high-profile athletes. They have a chrome paint, which I found really good looking and thought would look even better on a more classic geo frame like the Cat 12. So I ordered some primer, chrome paint and clear coat. The Cat 12 has a really strong paint job and chemical paint stripper won't do the job, so you'll have to sand it down. I used 180, 240, 400 and then 600 grit sandpaper. The main goal was to just sand away all the neon green, as this tends to shine through whatever color you try to put over it. But keeping mostly clear of the layer of primer so the aluminium wouldn't be weakened by me sanding too deep, especially on the thin tubes. However, I did sandblast all the weld areas because I couldn't be bothered to sand these by hand. There's plenty of material in these regions, so you're safe using something more powerful. Still, total time spent sanding this thing down was around 8 hours. After that, I gave it a layer of primer, then very lightly sanded it with 600 grit. After that, another layer of primer and again sanding with 600 grit. After that, a layer of chrome paint. I let it dry and then 3 layers of clear coat. The frame weight after sanding and painting was 1090 grams or 15 grams lighter than with the original paint job. For the fork I couldn't decide between also making it chrome or leaving it bare carbon with a clear coat. I ultimately ended up going with the latter. Weight after sanding and clear coating was 313 grams or 27 grams lighter than the original paint job. I also cut about 2 centimeters off the steerer tube to finally slam that stem. Now for the bottom bracket. The Pressfit BB30 is notorious for developing creaking over time, and after a while mine did as well. I tried cleaning and extensive greasing but nothing worked, so I eventually got this Seabear bottom bracket for 170 euros and I would not recommend it. First off, the tolerances appear to be really bad. The interference fit is way too tight. I must have spent 2 hours trying to get these into my frame using absurd amounts of force. Hambini has made a video about this exact problem, and if you search online you find many more of these cases. Anyways, the BB never fixed the creaking and even started turning really poorly after a month of use, so I had to remove them again. Now they were squeezed in so tightly I had to Dremel these out. I reinstalled the original bottom bracket, this time using Loctite, and so far it's been creak free. Onto the cockpit. For my stem I got the Pro PLT stem in 100mm length. I went with this stem as it's one of the few that has a 10-degree angle. It's also affordable and has a decent weight of 120 grams. Apart from this, it has some chrome accents that go very well with the theme of the rest of the bike. For the bars, I went with these promising new Prime Primavera X-Lite bars. They weigh only 159 grams and thus effectively saved me 100 grams over my previous Pro Vibe alloy bars. I've already done a first impression video on these bars and I will give a more in-depth review after I've ridden them for a while. So far they seem great. I swapped my brake cables for the Jaguar ones and the shift cables for the Shimano Dura Ace ones. I swapped my tires from 28 to these 25 Continental GP 5000s, and I also got some latex Vittoria tubes. Together this saved another 160 grams. These €300 Chinese carbon wheels have served me quite well over the last 9,000-ish kilometers, but they're starting to show some signs of wear and tear. They've lost some stiffness, causing brake rub when I sprint, as well as more frequent breaking of spokes. I wanted to rebuild them myself, but I think now of having them rebuilt by somebody who actually knows what they're doing. In the future, I would love to buy the Windspace Hyper SE. I've heard nothing but good things about their wheels and I really appreciate the way they communicate on their online platforms. These Windspace Hypers would shave another 400 grams off this bike, making it sub 7 kilograms and more than I will ever need. But that's for the future.